Welcome, dear listener, to Wishcrafting, where we unravel the magical and mythical threads of the world around us. I'm Wishamaya, and today we turn our gaze to a plant that has long been woven into the fabric of dreams, prophecy, and protection. A plant of witches, healers, and wandering spirits alike, Mugwort. This humble silver-green herb grows wild along roadsides and riverbanks, yet its magic is anything but ordinary. Used for dream work, divination, protection, and spirit travel, among other things, Mugwort is deeply tied to the divine feminine and powerful goddesses of wisdom, the moon, and the crossroads. So, brew yourself a cup of something mystical, get comfortable, and let's step into the world of Mugwort. Mugwort is one of my favorites. It's native to Europe, Asia, and North Africa, but has since naturalized in North America. Its botanical name, Artemisia vulgaris, comes from the Greek goddess Artemis, protector of women, wild spaces, and the moon, which is very fitting for a plant so deeply connected to dreams, cycles, and of course, magic. The name Mugwort likely comes from mug, as in a mug of beer, because it was once used to flavor ale before hops, and the word wort, which is the Old English word for plant. Before hops became the go-to, Mugwort was a star ingredient in Groot ales, giving the beer a slightly bitter but very aromatic flavor. It was also believed to enhance lucid dreaming and possibly induce mild trance-like states due to the thujone content. Thujone also happens to be found in wormwood, which is a key element of absinthe. Throughout Europe and Asia, Mugwort was known as a traveler's herb, tucked into shoes or carried in sachets to ward off exhaustion and evil spirits for long journeys. In medieval times, it was burned as a protective charm against the malefic spirits of the night, and a guardian against nightmares, curses, and the evil eye. Mugwort was one of the 9 sacred herbs listed in the Lagnunga, an Old English herbal charm text from the 10th century. In the text, it's called Una, the oldest of herbs and the guardian against poison and pain. Many native tribes in North America worked with Mugwort, calling it dream sage in some tribal cultures, for dream work, dream divination, as well as to aid in visionary work. In Norse mythology, Mugwort was considered one of the sacred herbs of Freya, goddess of magic and love, as well as Odin, the great wanderer and seeker of knowledge. It was even used in midsummer rituals, woven into garlands and burned in bonfires for purification and foresight. In German folklore, Mugwort is called St. John's girdle because it was worn around the waist on St. John's Eve, aka midsummer, and then tossed into the bonfire to burn away illness and misfortune. In Slavic and Baltic traditions, Mugwort was burned at midsummer to repel evil and disease. In Lithuania, it's called Kaitis, and it still plays a role in solstice fire rituals today. In traditional Chinese medicine, its close cousin, Chinese mugwort, or Artemisia argyri, has been used in moxibustion, a practice of burning the herb to stimulate healing energy and balance qi. For 3,000 years, mugwort has been harvested for healing on very specific days in China, either on the 3rd day of the 3rd lunar calendar month or on the 5th day of the 5th lunar calendar month in the Chinese lunar calendar. This is because it is harvested right before it flowers, very close to the summer solstice, which is considered to be the peak of the year's yang energy. It's harvested during this time to retain the yang potency in the plant for use in clearing out cold and stagnant energy in the body. In China, the dragon is the animal that represents peak yang energy. The time of year that mugwort is harvested on falls during the Dragon Boat Festival, considered a time to celebrate the potent yang energy before autumn and the seasons of yin. During this festival, mugwort is hung above doorways and throughout homes, as well as carried in pouches to bring protection in the upcoming seasons. This plant, lovely and powerful, has always been seen as a bridge between worlds, a key that unlocks visions and protects the soul. That being said, it is easy to understand why many circles, both magical and mundane, call mugwort the witch's herb. As an herb of the moon, dreams, and altered states, mugwort has long been associated with goddesses linked to prophecy, liminality, and of course, protection. Let's explore some of these divine connections right now. Firstly, of course, its namesake, Artemisia, linked to Artemis, the Greek goddess of the moon, wild spaces, and childbirth. Mugwort is named after her and was often planted or found around her temples and can be used in rituals working with Artemis for protection, strength, and intuitive wisdom. Hecate, goddess of the crossroads, ghosts, and witchcraft, among many, many other things, is also affiliated with mugwort. Mugwort is a sacred offering to Hecate, used to enhance psychic abilities, spirit communication, as well as communication to the goddess herself. Mugwort has many ties to the moon, and as such is associated with Selene and Luna, moon goddesses associated with dreams and intuition. Mugwort is burned to honor their lunar energy and deepen astral journeys and visions regarding the moon and moon magic. Also associated with mugwort is Freya, the Norse goddess of love, war, and magic. Mugwort was used in Norse magic to aid in trance work and divination, skills that Freya is known for teaching. The Caliac, the winter counterpart to Brigid, is a wise woman and crone goddess who rules over winter and liminal spaces. Mugwort is used in Samhain rites to invoke her protection and see beyond the veil. By working with mugwort and these goddesses in tandem, we tap into the ancient wisdom of these deities and align ourselves with their gifts of insight, protection, transformation, as well as their raw, wild feminine power. Oftentimes, mugwort is aligned heavily with feminine energy, though in China it is aligned deeply with the more masculine yang energy. We all hold multitudes, and mugwort is no different. However, the tie to feminine energy is more direct and less esoteric than everything we've talked about so far. You see, Artemisia has a very long history of being used for female health. It has been used in medicine to relieve cramps, decrease inflammation of the uterine tissues, and to aid in regular menstruation. It aids in regularity because it is a gentle uterine stimulant, meaning it can promote uterine contractions. With that being said, anyone who wants to remain pregnant should stay far away from mugwort, just to be safe. If you were in, say, the first 16 weeks or so of pregnancy, and you drank a very strong mugwort tea every few hours for a couple of days, there would be a much, much higher chance of miscarriage. Adding fresh ginger into the mix with the mugwort would heavily increase the chances of uterine contractions, so those folks should definitely not do any of that. However, I am but a humble podcast hostess, not a doctor, so as always, check for safety with your doctor before making any decisions about your body. To my delight and surprise, it has even been used in traditional Chinese medicine to aid in flipping babies in utero. A baby turned the wrong way can be very dangerous, so I thought that this was incredibly powerful and personally moving for me. Whether you have a womb or not, though, it's clear that mugwort has an affinity for womb work. This means that it could be an excellent ally to aid in birthing, not just actual babies, by professionals, of course, but birthing new ideas, a new path, new opportunities, a new understanding. You get the point. Are you bringing something new into the world? Mugwort can probably help you. It is a witch's herb through and through. This beautiful plant has been worked with in countless ways, as its magical limits are, quite frankly, almost non-existent. So, the sky is the limit, but in case you would like some inspiration, I got you. Placing mugwort under your pillow or drinking it as a tea can induce lucid dreams and visions. Burning mugwort as incense before divination sessions can clear the mind and sharpen intuition. You could also choose to smoke it to aid in those purposes, and if you did, you would get the added bonus of breathing more deeply afterwards, because whilst the spiritual depth of mugwort is vast, it also, as I mentioned, has potent medical affinities, one of which being with the lungs, which is so cool. Native Americans smoked mugwort to aid in congestive illnesses like bronchitis and help expand the lungs and move the breath. This means that not only does mugwort help with expansion of the mind and the spirit, but can also quite literally expand and make space within you. And you know, if you've listened to the show before, how I feel about the breath being such a powerful, magical tool. Therefore, the expansive energy of mugwort could be incredibly useful in a wide variety of different workings. When worn, burned, or consumed before rituals, mugwort helps open the mind and activate the third eye chakra, your inner gate between worlds. When hung over doorways or thresholds, mugwort repels malevolent spirits and energy. Carry it in a charm or a sachet to protect you on the go. Or, if you're crunched for time, just do as the Romans did and stuff it in your shoes. True story. Lastly, water infused with mugwort used to ritually cleanse and purify your body under a full moon could leave you feeling clear, tuned into the world around you, and tuned into the luminous moon in the sky. I have done this often. I simply infuse the mugwort like you would a tea, and I let it cool all the way. Then I go outside with a bowl and a clean washcloth, and I let myself drop in to the night around me. I listen and observe while breathing deeply, and when I've grounded my energy in this way, I turn my eyes to the moon and I offer a few heartfelt words, whatever I want to say to her at that time. Sometimes it's a wish, sometimes it's an ask, sometimes it's a secret, sometimes I just tell her about my day. Whatever it is, it always comes from the heart and is pertinent to whatever I'm going through at that time. Once I've checked in with the moon, I start from my head and I work all the way down to my feet, dipping the washcloth into the bowl of Artemisia water, and I cleanse myself head to toe. When I've finished this, I do my best to air dry as I gaze at the moon, and I feel her energy work through the sacred water. I usually leave this simple ritual feeling absolutely radiant, full of the silvery light of the moon, and feeling powerful as hell. This is a really great ritual for Beltane, or midsummer, or other days that are powerful and feel powerful to you. However, if you can't do this outside or it's cold outside, you can always do this in the shower. You don't need to see the moon to feel her power, because it's just always there. Artemisia, mugwort, it's an herb for seekers, guiding and protecting us for centuries. Nowadays, it's common, often growing anywhere that it can. Sidewalk cracks, forest edges, or newly disturbed soils. It is not picky. This plant is prolific and hell-bent on survival, often quickly filling in whatever space it's given. Silver leaves covered in soft, beautiful, little bitty hairs reach towards the heavens on stalks that can get pretty damn tall, and that makes it hard to miss. Mugwort is a powerful spirit, an alchemist with an energetic cord directly to the moon and directly to the womb of the earth. It is a liminal plant living between worlds. It's the hedge witch's ally, bridging the conscious and the subconscious, bridging the gap between the waking world and the dream world. Mugwort is protective, it's visionary, it's deeply, deeply feminine and resilient, just as happy to grow on roadsides and rubble as it is by a beautiful flowing river. Artemisia is the herb of the dream walker, the wanderer, the seeker, and the wise one. Simply put, she's a powerful ass bitch. So, dear listener, that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this dive on one of my favorite green spirits because I really enjoyed crafting it for you. If you have a moment, please consider joining my Patreon for $1, where you will find many things, but a Mugwort dreaming spell, protection charm, and threshold ward are all up as printable grimoire pages and PDFs for your convenience, as well as all of the other offerings of spells, recipes, and musings that I've been adding recently. If you'd like to talk to me directly or give me feedback on the show, the links for that will be in the show notes. And if you're on Spotify or Apple, you can of course leave me a comment. I love getting comments. Thank you so much for joining me today, and until next time, don't forget to keep your roots deep and your dreams wild.